Hey, brothers. Basically, I guess this will be a Sunday morning talk. And I haven't done one in a while, but I think this one is kind of important, I suppose, especially from a manosphere point of view, a black manosphere point of view. And I don't have to tell you if you are in the know. In the black manosphere, a lot has gone on this past week. And I guess I'm going to name this one when your opponents are basically destroying themselves, don't interrupt them, which is a good thing. And a lot of lessons were learned this week because we have after the Black Manosphere 2.0 got divided and torn asunder, even though it got cut in half, it still survives. People don't think Manosphere 2.0 doesn't survive, but it still does. It hasn't really gone anywhere because the base of what the Black Manosphere is still built on Black Manosphere 2.0. The bulk of it is. And Black Manosphere 3.0, which had a new vision but hadn't been tested. And you really don't know that you're a thing or a group or a movement until you've been tested. And for the Black Manosphere 3.0, I remember I used to show the clips of James Harden crossing over this particular guy and him falling down and then stepping over him. When it said clean up on aisle 3, someone tell someone there's to clean up on aisle 3 because a man is down. That was showing that that Manosphere 2.0 is still sunning Manosphere 3.0 because they weren't ready yet. They hadn't been tested. They hadn't gone through anything. And they thought so-called Aaron Fountain was a test, and it really wasn't. It was an annoyance, but it wasn't a test. What happened with Game Changer was a test. It was a close call, which was a wake-up call that a lot of Manosphere 3.0 had been loose with their boundaries and loose with their protocols and their safety because they thought being in this space was without peril and without danger. And so they were engaged in like reckless behavior, and they almost got burned for it because they thought that because they were doing something different that they would be embraced by not only YouTube but also the outside world. And they're finding out that's not true. You got to be on your game. So I think that Manosphere 3.0 has a newfound respect for what could happen. And I think going forward, they're going to tighten up their game and, kind of instead of beating their chest, I think they're going to be a little bit more humble and a little bit more cautious as Manosphere 2.0 has learned to be, and find out that this game that we play on YouTube is not as easy as it looks. Well, let's get into the meat of this video. There is an old saying, there is no honor among thieves. And that's very true. Because eventually the fact that you are a thief and a robber and a crook and stuff like that, that means you don't have any honor. If you don't have any honor, you don't have any boundaries. And eventually when your honor and boundaries are tested, you're going to roll over. You're going to turn against your code. Not everybody, but a whole lot, which is why thieves and people that live on the street have to be cautious and put their head on a swivel, because they know at any time somebody's boundaries are going to slip, somebody's code is going to slip, somebody's honor is going to be tossed to the side, and you could be the target of that honor slipping. Same thing with the bottom dwellers of Black YouTube. The reason that they can do what they do to other people is because they don't have any code or any honor, any loyalty. So by them not having that, they really can't trust each other, which is why they're always not only planning to get one up on the people that are above them, that do have honor and who do have loyalty, that do have integrity. They're also going to step over themselves. And that's what you saw that happened this week. And a lot of content creators that had an agenda that dealt with bottom dwellers got burnt, had their reputation scorched, because YouTube is all about reputation. YouTube is all about who you associate with, because that's all it really is, online associations. This is not real life, or real life in a sense that is interpersonal, where you can make physical contact with somebody. And all you have on YouTube is your track record. When your boundaries are loose and you don't have a code that you live by and you're willing to live by on social media, because in social media, nobody can enforce your code. Nobody can punch you in the face or shoot you or kick in your door. So if you don't have to face any consequences like that, then you are willing to stretch the boundaries of what you think your morals and your code is. And that's exactly what happened. There was at some point when the little things that they were doing, that the bottom dwellers were doing, wasn't enough. Sooner or later, just like anything else, they're going to ratchet up their attack, and they're going to do more and more and more, and they're going to stretch the boundaries of what little moral code they have, and attacking Game Changer's personal life and putting his, not only his employment, but also his safety in jeopardy by a slur that should have never gone on in behind closed doors, much less out in public. And now they have branded themselves with scarlet letters. And now there's a separation. People that mess with folks like that, associate with people like that, do have scarlet letters. They're also going to get scarlet letters put on them, because that means you rock with this particular person and you co-sign this kind of activity. And so now the manosphere, the black manosphere, is passing out a lot of little red marks, a lot of scarlet letters, and a lot of associations will probably be broken because of this. And a lot of people are backpedaling, trying to get away from this mark and trying to throw off blame on other people, but it's not going to work, because receipts are receipts. Even people are trying to bring up my old receipts for something that I may would have done with by like 2 seconds, and that's fine, because I see it thrown in my face a lot. And at the end of the day, I say to people, yeah, I said it, and I said the clip is still up there, go find it. And if what I said for 2 seconds is greater than what I've done for 5 years, you know what? You have every right to not mess with me. You have every right not to talk to me. You have every right not to come to my channel. So if you're willing to actually associate yourself with people that like to destroy people online just because they want a little bit more clout, or just because they don't like what other brothers are doing online or in their personal lives, then guess what? You need to go. And you need to hang out with the bottom dwellers that are actually willing to step over you and step on you. And shout out to Cluster B. She said there's only so far that she will go. And she reached that stop point in her boundary. She said, you know what? Of all the stuff that I've done, all the stuff that I've passed around, and all the stuff that the scheming I've done behind the scenes, she said, this is the bridge too far, and I can't do it. And so guess what? I am putting a stop to all of this. And she did. So basically, she basically kicked over the anthill. She basically tore down the house of cards. And a lot of people that were in that house of cards, in those rooms, got taken out with it. So a lot of people on this side of the manosphere, they did hold their code and do have a moral center. Instead of fretting over it, there should be a time of, I would say, celebration. When your enemy destroys themselves by their own hand, it's a time to be thankful. It's one less problem that you have to worry about. But it's also a time to be thankful that this narrow escape that you just witnessed allowed you to survive and be stronger. So now it's the time to get stronger. Now it's the time to be more cautious. Now is the time, instead of dealing in petty beefs, to actually do the real work that you set out to do, which is strengthening and listening and helping black men, instead of attacking black men. Because we thought that this infighting was the real enemy. The real enemy, you just saw it, and you saw them destroy themselves. And just like others will in the future that come to attack you, they also will destroy themselves, because like I said, there's no honor amongst thieves, and there's no honor amongst bottom dwellers. Now, they're just like anything else. You know, the cockroaches will crawl through the rubble and survive and reproduce. But for this day, this is a day to actually be joyful and sit back and relish the moment, instead of being in anguish and being angry, because a lot of us saw this coming, and a lot of us were waiting for this moment because we knew it would happen. And so instead of us being pulled down into the muck and the mire and into destruction, we have taken a great leap forward. You don't see it now, but you will see it later. Everything that we said would come to pass has come to pass. Now you see it, and you see that the vision that we had has come to manifest. And you're seeing the black male world with new eyes. We see it with the eyes that we saw it a long time ago. So now it's time to do what we do and see what we see, and see not only the present as it is, but also the future as it's going to be. As the oracle said to Neo, you have the sight now. You're seeing the world without time. Now that you see it, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to act? How are you going to respond? With that, I'm going to get out of here. That's really all that I had to say. This is kind of a ramble. I hope you forgive me. Hopefully I'll have a rant later on, because there's a few things that I want to rant on, but I'll save that for another time. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one.